So Canberra Raiders, NRL, their average attendance over the last 5 years is 10,000. I know we're talking NRL. I know it's an established franchise as well. 10,000, that could sustain an A-League club.
But as I said before, if they don't do well and they just do, like you say, like become the Mariners of the A-League, then you'll have Mark Bosnich saying there should be promotion and relegation again.
Okay, so some of the other franchises or potential franchise options is the South Sydney option, which I've kind of grouped that together with Wollongong as well, which, you know, I'm not sure if that's two separate franchises. The plan,
the Cronulla Sharks, obviously NRL team, get a reasonable crowd every week. They own their own stadium. They have the infrastructure. There's a lot of interest in football, but not at the A-League level, I think, in Sutherland Shire. I know personally from playing football in the Shire that there's thousands of people that play, that follow the Socceroos, follow the Matildas, but have no real interest in A-League. And there's a lot of potential there. If you could mobilise, especially the younger players, the families, to come along, a lot of who already go to Sydney FC, but there's a lot more that, if they could be enticed, there's a fan base waiting there.
Western Pride.
Yeah,
Western Pride's got stakes a good claim, I think, for a bit of Brisbane rivalry, derby fun and games that could be had up there. I think the problem we had with Gold Coast United was it just felt so manufactured, the whole thing. And I think if you can take an existing club like Western Pride and build something around that, then I think there'd be a lot more following and rivalry going on with that. As far as Geelong's concerned, I think that was an opportunity missed back when Melbourne City, Melbourne Heart were formed. That's where we should have gone in at that stage. Do
you think this is a must? Or in terms of a timeline, when do you think we should be integrating a 11th and 12th team?
Greedy. I don't know if the word greedy is the right word, but I'm just kind of bored of the same 10 teams. 10 teams is just not enough. But the problem is FFA don't want it. Every time you ask them questions about expansion's not on the radar. We don't see that in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think the problem though is that A-League and a lot of fans are coming at it from the perspective of new clubs, new franchises, and all startups, which are then creating new fans, possibly from existing other clubs' fan bases, rival clubs' fan bases. Whereas what we've actually got is an entire stockpile of clubs with existing fan bases, loyal to their clubs, that are not crossed over to A-League, love football, have no interest in A-League because their club's not there. And that's the obvious answer. And that brings us on to the next point of promotion and relegation. I don't actually think we should have relegation yet, but we should definitely be having promotion.
So you mentioned their promotion. So take away relegation element of it. How would that work? How would you see it working?
I think it's promotion in the sense of, if you've got the business plan, you've got the model, you've got the squad, you've got the facilities, put a business plan up to the FFA, and they can then consider it. And it's not promotion in the sense of you've topped your NPL league. It's promotion in the sense of you've actually promoted yourself. You've got yourself up to a viable business that can compete in the league level. It's just daft to create new franchises. Now, at this stage, we're far enough down the line where we can shed the baggage that the NSL had from 40 years ago.
Yeah, Con and I went to the New South Wales PS4 NPL launch last week, and there was very clear messaging all throughout of taking away the old soccer tag and bringing it into new football, and the A-League has been brilliant for doing that and changing perceptions to a certain extent. But there still is this in the NPL, so potentially that could be a way of embracing that history and maybe moving on a little bit.
I think the problem would be there is if we had a proper promotion relegation system, a team gets promoted, struggles to come to terms with the A-League, gets relegated straight away again, they're probably going to freefall. They'd be in a worse opposition they were before they got promoted. So I think, the idea of if you can prove your viability, you get a chance at playing in the A-League.
What I found interesting is when I was interviewing Mile Sejovski, and I asked him if a team would be set up in Wollongong, how would you do it? Would you start from scratch or would you use existing teams? And he actually said it has to be a team that starts from scratch. There's a lot of passion in Wollongong, but they're passionate about their teams. So already you've got a sense that there would be infighting about who would be the team that you would choose. So another thing is, when I was talking to George Anikin about South Melbourne, when he came back from the Athens Olympics in 2004, and this is when the A-League was starting, he went to South Melbourne and said, why don't we join with all the other Greek clubs to create one super club? And South Melbourne said, apokliete, which is a Greek word for, that ain't never happening, right? It's never going to happen. So that's why Western Sydney was a good idea. You didn't use existing clubs. You came up with a whole new identity, but you also used the Wanderers, which was an older club. So I think coming up with something like that would be a good idea. Like Western Pride, they've got a lot of history. The first Socceroo comes from Ipswich, 1922. So they would use that as a way of saying, we've got history here. Even though they're starting with an existing club. So
have they done much in between the two?
Yeah, I know.
The last 90 years.
Well, Craig Foster is one, but
so no then.
South Melbourne were playing in a competition that didn't involve another Melbourne Greek team. Would the fans of the other Greek teams see that and think of South Melbourne as kind of like a Greek national team that they would just go and support because they were in a different competition? Or would they still see them as rivals even though they weren't actually playing against each other?
So to put that into kind of an English scenario, Blackburn fan, as I said, Burnley gets promoted to the Premier League next year. I'm not going down to watch Burnley play just because I can watch Premier League football. Even if they signed, I don't know, a Blackburn legend or a top English player, I still couldn't engage in it. I probably wouldn't go to watch a game just because it's Burnley.
Potential problem there is that these ethnic rivalries or these clubs have existed and their rivalries have existed longer than the A-League has itself. So I think that, like you said, if there's history there, you're not suddenly going to drop the animosity or the rivalry to support a club just because they've come from a similar position to you and have been promoted to the A-League. I don't think they're going to unite behind one banner. They're still going to dislike the team if they disliked them before.
The thing with South Melbourne too is they're already based, the name's there. They're based in South Melbourne, so that would be a different geographical... Yeah. There'll be some tribalism there. So even if you don't get the Greek fans, the South Melbourne fans, you could get people who live in the south of Melbourne to go along to the games because it's a different area compared to where Melbourne Heart and
I think that's
Melbourne
a very
City.
important part. It isn't all about ethnic clubs. It's about targeted areas and bringing the community along.
The FFA Cup winner just goes into the A-League for a season.
It's always going to be an A-League team though.
But if an NPL side does win the FFA Cup, or let's just say the NPL Championship, we have them in the A-League. If they do well, like if they get good crowds and they don't come last, you get to stay for a season.
But it's like an A-League invitational.
Yes, but I think that's a crazy idea.
It's like The Voice, isn't it, for NPL teams?
Just try them out. Try it out for a season. If you, and then if they do better than the Mariners, then the Mariners go down. Sorry.
Okay then. So you were David Gallop for a day, and you might be. Damien De Bowen's gone. So have you put your application in? Carl?
Yeah. Well, I have put my application in, but. I would destroy the A-League within 5 years with my ideas, I think.
All right,
there'd be 20 teams. There'd be 20 teams. There'd be promotion and relegation.
Marquees for
three marquees in every club.
3+1. You could have one Asian and marquee as well.
I'm building stadiums.
Yeah.
All funded off Stephen Boy's
that's
card.
right. Have you seen my Amex card? No, Stephen. Sorry, I don't know where it's gone.